What's going on, guys? Wolf here. Today's match is going to be against Dan of the Violet City Noctowls, so our team building video is going to be focused on that this week. This is a pivotal match for us, considering that we're both 4-2 right now. We both haven't faced Pablo yet, which means going into the end of the season where we both have to face him, it's vitally important that we get this win, both of us, because the winner is basically going to be moving into third place and be more comfortable getting to the playoffs after losing to Pablo. And the loser will be down to fifth and will be struggling to get past him to get into the playoffs. So huge battle for both me and Dan today. Now, as you can see on the screen, if you've been looking at the team while I've been talking, you're probably thinking to yourself, holy cow, that defensive core. Because that's certainly what I said when I looked at his team. We battled on Tuesday, even though this is going up on Saturday because of the weekly uploads for everybody in the TCL. I spent probably 3 or 4 days prepping, uh, prepping since last weekend basically, just as he said he was in chat. And it took me until the day of the match on Tuesday to actually come up with a strategy because, oh, sorry. M-Sableye, Heatran, and Suicune as a defensive core is disgusting to face. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Um, and to couple that, he has Weavile for an offensive mon, Salamence for an offensive mon, Cobalion for either offensive or support. He's got an Arena Trapper with Dugtrio. He's got supporting mons and things like Flame Orb, Psycho Shift, Sigilyph, or he wants to run an offensive Sigilyph with Life Orb or Focus Sash, which is usually the preferred sets. You got offensive or support Rotom Cut. You got offensive or support Mesprit. You have offensive Basculin with adaptability. Things like superpowers and adaptability Aqua Jets. You got Garbodor. Just a disgusting team to plan against. So, in actuality, for prepping this match, uh, I kind of discovered this by playing Ranbats. I have a tendency to play Ranbats and stuff while I'm trying to think of teams because Ranbats is a great way to just fool around. And in the process, I repeatedly kept getting Scrafty with Bulk Up and Rest. And then I started thinking to myself, Mega Sableye struggles a lot with two things. One, set up fire types, and two, bulk up setup sweepers that don't care about Will-O-Wisp. And Scrafty happens to be one of the best answers to Mega Sableye I've ever seen. Mega Sableye can't touch this thing. Flat out, just can't touch it. Doesn't care about Will-O-Wisp because you have Shed Skin. Doesn't care if it recovers. Foul Play is followed up by Bulk Up because Bulk Up, as it raises attack, it raises defense, so Foul Play always does the same amount of damage, and since Scrafty resists it, is doing jack diddly. So, Bulk Up and Rest on a Scrafty is amazing. We are running a Chesto Rest set simply because it has excellent synergy already. Just being able to get that first rest off. Usually, the way you run a Bulk Up Rest set with Scrafty is pretty simple. You identify what you want to set up on, and you set up, say, 2 or 3 Bulk Ups. Because you'll get usually one free bulk up while he switches out or tries to do something. And then your second or third bulk up are while his answer is damaging you. And then it gets to the point where after your second or third bulk up, he knocks you down to a low health point, and then at that point you rest. And Chesto Berry allows you to wake up immediately and continue that offensive momentum because now you have a +2 or +3 Scrafty on attack and defense at full health and access to not only boost up more, but also start firing off stab moves at +3 or +2, which is just tremendously good. Um, and it does quite a number on a lot of teams, especially because of knockoff in League. +2 stab knockoffs or +3 stab knockoffs, there's not a lot of things that can stand up to it. Sadly to say, though, his team is defensive enough that, yeah, I'm going to reasonably, I can expect I have to bulk up to +5 or +6 to take out a lot of things. Things like Rotom Cut, Drain Punch doesn't actually kill before +6. It's because Rotoms always have the same stats and regardless of form. So even though Rotom Cut is really low on the ladder, it has basically the same base stats as a Rotom Wash. And everybody knows how bulky Rotom Wash is. It's stupid. Stupid bulky. So Rotom Cut is the same way. You also have Suicune, who I fully expect to be physically defensive, in which case we're going to be doing like a third of its health roughly per hit. I mean, even after boost. So you're going to have to boost to at least +4 or so to take that on. So overall, I mean, we're going to play the long boost. I mean, we're expecting to just bulk up, rest until we get to +6 and then sweep. So that's the plan with him. In terms of stats, the EV spreads at first glance seem kind of unamazing. Bulk up sets traditionally around max special defense, and then you got max HP for general bulk, and then you're like, well, I got 4 points left over to throw them in speed. The speed is actually relevant because if Dan decides to go truly, truly crazy, he could go like a max offense Mega Sableye, and a max speed positive nature Mega Sableye hits 152. Amazing how that works. So, 4 speed puts us at 153, and it guarantees that we will always outspeed Mega Sableye, even if it means that we don't outspeed anything else. So, mildly relevant to put those 4 points there, but otherwise, pretty standard bulk up rest set from Scrafty. But I expect this thing to do a ton of damage. The only thing that really threatens this is Dazzling Gleam Mesprit, which we'll have answers for that I'll go into in a little bit, or any other fairy coverage. Whether Mega Sableye gets Dazzling Gleam, which I believe it does, or something else possibly. He might have, Sigliff gets Air Slash and stuff, so I mean that's a potential answer. Salamence might even have, I don't know, just like huge coverage with like a Draco or something like that, or Dragon Claw with Dragon Dance, or Basculin has Superpower, which adaptability does a decent amount of damage. So he's got some answers to it that we need to weaken beforehand. But otherwise, this thing's going to do a ton of work. Now, aside from Scrafty, we need a backup setup sweeper in case things go wrong. So, Mega Sableye's physical defense is through the roof. Special defense, not so much. Nasty Plot Infernape is probably the second best setup sweeper that you could ever want to have for Mega Sableye. You lose the resistance to Shadow Ball, like Scrafty has, which makes Scrafty, in many cases, a better setup sweeper at first. But you do gain the advantage of being able to just flat out kill it +2. You get to boost twice as fast with a Nasty Plot. Foul play doesn't matter because you still resist it and you're not pumping your attack. In fact, we have a negative attack nature because of Timid. Life Orb damage, a +2 Fire Blast flat out kills Mega Sableye. Doesn't matter, goodbye so long. Similarly, against Suicune, who's expected to come in against this thing, if Suicune is physically defensive, +2 Grass Knot kills 100%. Goodbye so long. The only time that a Suicune will live against a +2 Grass Knot from a max invested Infernape is if it is specially defensive, and it has to be specially defensive. It can't just be half and half or something like that. It has to be invested in special defense because even fully specially defensive, a Grass Knot at +2 still does like I think 75 to 90%. So still going to do a number to it. Assuming he tries to come in on the switch or something like that, and we predict the switch, we can then Grass Knot him and then just immediately Vacuum Wave to kill it, and then proceed to sweep from there. So, the other reason why I focused a lot on Infernape this week is Weavile. Weavile does do a decent amount of damage to us. I mean, we don't want to take stab knockoffs. Ice moves are kind of unfavorable. Low kicks are also kind of unfavorable because low kick can kill Scrafty before it bulks up. Also can hit Mamoswine pretty hard. So we need something to take it out. And Infernape happens to pretty much either resist or take normal damage from low kick on all of his moves, as well as being able to kill it with Vacuum Wave on priority at a 4 times weakness. So Infernape is an excellent answer to Weavile. So these two mons, Scrafty and Infernape, are going to be our main two attackers. Uh, if that doesn't work, or if we get some chances open for us, we're going to use Mamoswine as a third. He doesn't have a lot of mons that straight out resist Earthquake, pretty much just his flyers. And I think Mesprit gets Levitate too, but other than that, a lot of things take decent damage or excellent damage from Earthquake, especially since it's stab. We also get Ice Shard for Salamence, as well as I think Rotom. Yeah, Rotom Cut also takes super effective damage from Ice Shard. And then we have Knockoff to help deal with that Mesprit that I mentioned before that could have Dazzling Gleam. Now, we are running a Focus Sash for the specific reason that we want to definitely come in if Salamence sets up. We want to be able to Ice Shard it to bring it to half health or so, get knocked down to our Sash, and then Ice Shard again to kill it, even no matter how fast it is. Doesn't matter, I don't even care. Ice Shard has priority, so we win. Now, I do have rocks. Yes, my opponent has Mega Sableye. We already have answers to Mega Sableye. Now, Stealth Rocks probably won't go up. I'll say that. But if we get an opening and he still hasn't Mega Evolved yet, and we bring in Mamoswine, we're guaranteed rocks because he has to be Mega Evolved. That's the key with Magic Bounce that a lot of players don't realize is before Mega Evolution, your hazards are fine. It's after Mega Evolution that you always have to worry that they'll get bounced back. So, in terms of EVs, 232 speed gives us 279. That 279 is relevant because max speed Heatran hits 278 with a max speed positive nature. So we're guaranteed outspeed Heatran, guaranteed to beat the living snot out of it with Earthquake, provided it doesn't have Air Balloon or some nonsense like that, but we can take care of that. And then the rest, of course, is just an HP. So, offensive threats taken care of, now we need defensive threats. Electros, Assault Vest, pretty standard defensive set. The reason why I chose this over something like Tornadus Therian is the fact that Volt Switch does actually not too much, or quite a lot of damage on his team. The reason why is that his only real immunity to it is Dugtrio, and Dugtrio is never switching into Electros ever. Like, ever, because of Levitate. Completely immune to Earthquake, takes barely any damage from Stone Edge because of how bulky we are, and kills it with Giga Drain. Just flat out kills it. So, Dugtrio, I'm never expecting to come in on this thing unless Dan is kind of hitting the sauce a little bit too much, because reasonably a good player won't ever do that, and Dan is a very good player. So, Volt Switch, I'll be able to essentially treat it as free switch momentum for days. And the fact that it's only outspeeding Mega Sableye means that I'll get a slow Volt Switch on pretty much everything. So I'll be able to come in with Infernape or Scrafty or something like that and immediately get a free setup because I'm not taking any damage on the switch. So, Volt Switch and Giga Drain, pretty self-explanatory. Knockoff, again, for that Mesprit. I wanted a second knockoff user that could try and hit that thing. Hidden Power Ground is a fourth move. Yes, I realize Heatran is especially defensive, so it's not going to do a ton to Heatran, but it's going to do a decent amount still, and the fact that our three moves beforehand don't really touch Heatran means we need something that can actually go toe-to-toe with it if we bring it in against it. So, other than that, pretty self-explanatory spread on the EVs. The only real standout is the fact that we're running a minus speed nature, specifically because I didn't really want to lower my defenses, and it's already outsped by everything anyways, except Mega Sableye. And guess what? With a minus speed nature, we still outspeed Mega Sableye, so it doesn't really matter. There's like a huge window where you have Mega Sableye, the rock, and then a huge window of like 200 speed for the entire rest of his team before you get to the next highest speed thing. I mean, it's literally like Mega Sableye and then almost 200 points before anything becomes relevant. That everything in there doesn't matter. So since the Electros will never hit above 200 with this EV spread, might as well give it a minus speed nature and save some of our defenses. So physically oriented, yes, we're not physically bulky. We just have the investment in HP, but with all of our natural bulk, we're still treating this kind of as a defensively bulky mon. We're just running it a little bit more offensive this week. So, Giga Drain, Earthquake, Hidden Power, Ice, and Synthesis. Um, the reason why I didn't want to invest in physical bulk is a lot of the things that are physically going to hit this, it already either does normal damage or resists. Things like, for instance, Weavile. Obviously, we soak knockoffs for days. We also happen to deal with physical Salamence decently amount because we have HP Ice to pretty much one-shot it. Also deals with things like Basculin. We switch into Aqua Jets. Resist them just fine. So a lot of things go our way with this thing. As you can see, in terms of the moves, Earthquake is to hit the Heatran, Hidden Power Ice is for things like Salamence, as well as the occasional Sigilyph. If the Sigilyph happens to come in, we can get the Hidden Power Ice on the switch. And then Giga Drain, of course, is for just stab coverage on quite a lot of things. Hits Dugtrio, hits Weavile, hits quite a lot of things, really. And then Synthesis for damage control. Now, EVs, you're looking quite confused, I imagine, trying to figure out why does he have 8 in speed? Why does he have a minus special defense nature? Why does he have all this stuff? Now, in terms of speed, to check my notes, as I said before, the next thing after Mega Sableye is something that doesn't really have, say less than 200 speed. The next thing, in fact, will be Mesprit without any investment whatsoever. Say if it's a bulky variant, hits 196 speed. So the idea is we want to outspeed it by 2 points. We want something. We want to avoid the situation where he invests in, say, all HP and all bulk, and then just throws his leftover 4 points in speed. And if we go at 197, we speed time. So what we want to do is we want to outspeed his neutral, like no investment, by 2 points, so that if he throws those 4 leftover points in speed, we still outspeed by 1 point. So 198 speed is surprisingly relevant in that particular scenario, just because we know if he's a fully bulky Mesprit and we scout out his set ahead of time, there's a chance we can actually stay in with Venusaur and hit it with Giga Drain if it's weakened. Now, especially defensive, with the rash nature and losing some of the special defense, the reason why is because I don't expect to stay in against any of his special attackers. Most of them are the likes of things like Sigilyph, who are not staying in, Mesprit, who are not staying in. Let me check my notes here on the rest of his team here. We have Suicune, who we resist anyways. Cobalion, who the special sets we resist anyways. The Flash Cannon variants, Volt Switch variants. Rotom Cut we resist, so it doesn't matter. So, I mean, if we don't resist it, we're not staying in. So, that being said, minus special defense actually doesn't hurt us that much. So, finally, we have Latias. The reason why we have Latias is a concession of the fact that we still need a hazard remover. One of the main weaknesses to my draft is that Latias is pretty much my only real hazard remover. Yes, it's the best offensive defogger in the format, so I'm not necessarily sad about that. It's just a little predictable because if you see Latias on my team, you're pretty much assuming it's going to have defog. So we have defog on this list. We also have Healing Wish because he has a lot of users of status. He's got Rotom, who has Will-O-Wisp and Thunderwave. Mega Sableye has Will-O-Wisp. Suicune has Scald Burns. Cobalion has Thunderwave. Garbodor has Toxic and Toxic Poisons. Toxic Spikes, I mean. Mesprit also has Thunder Wave. Uh, Sigilyph has Psycho Shift on the Flame Orb. Uh, just a ton of things that have status. So Healing Wish will help be able to bring up, say, Scrafty if it's been burned and our Shed Skin it's not activating. It'll also get rid of a Thunder Wave on Infernape, which would otherwise cripple us. So just a lot of utility with Healing Wish. Now, in terms of his other two moves, Draco Meteor and Hidden Power Fighting have perfect neutral coverage on his entire team. Draco Meteor hits everything either neutrally or neutrally because he doesn't have any dragon. Well, I mean, he has Salamence, but Salamence I'm not realistically going to try and kill with Draco Meteors. I'm going to be trying to do with ice coverage. But Draco Meteor hits everything except for his two steel types, Cobalion and Heatran. Heatran and Cobalion, coincidentally, are both weak to fighting, as well as Weavile is, which explains the Colbur Berry. This is actually, as I started working on the moves, I realized that, well, I mean, I already have Hidden Power Fighting to deal with Cobalion and Heatran. Why not make it a lure for Weavile? So we put Colbur Berry in there to prevent the Pursuit Trap, as well as help weaken that knockoff and kill it with Hidden Power Fighting. So that may become relevant. I'm not entirely sure. It's not my first choice. I'd rather kill it with Infernape, but if Infernape's down, we do have an emergency reset button on it. Now, in terms of speed, 244 speed hits us at that 347 benchmark. The reason why, I'm trying to remember, let me check my notes again. One of his mons hits 346. So we wanted to outspeed that, and I believe it was Cobalion. Yep, Cobalion hits 346, the same coincidentally as Infernape, which is why we had the max speed investment on Infernape to speed tie with it. At 347, we guarantee outspeed to hit it with that Hidden Power Fighting. We also have the 12 HP and just residual bulk. So that's the team. Overall, like I said, we're going to be focused a lot on getting Scrafty and Infernape online, set up, and try and sweep his team. So I don't expect this to be a close match. This is either going to be a blowout match in my favor, or my plan's going to fall apart and it's going to be a blowout match in his favor as he wears down my team with his huge defensive core. So that's it for the week. Make sure to check out the match video, which will be uploaded at the same time as this. Also, make sure to check out my opponent's videos. The links will be down below in the description as always, in this video as well as the match video. Make sure to check out Dan's videos. He's a cool guy. He's a great battler. He's been doing very well in the league. Like I said, he's 4-2. I'm 4-2. We're going to be getting down a huge throwdown for this match, and I'm pretty excited and at the same time pretty nervous fighting that defensive core. So definitely look out for that match and watch it because it's probably going to be a good one. So that'll be it for this week in the team builder sections. Take care, guys. I'll see you guys next week.